right. All right, all right. Okay, we are going to be doing our Kings tournament here, guys. I guess I'm going to swap over to just StarCraft right now. I'm working on a lobby screen. We'll get there. And there we go. Okay. So yeah, we're doing our Kings tournament today. It's going to be our kind of our starting tournament for season 2 of the Colosseum here, and we're going to get our starting king for the season as well. Just a quick reminder of kind of what this is. It's going to be a quick series of 1v1s amongst 6 or 7 players. I'll have to view the viewer list here in a second. And hopefully another person here shows up. We're kind of waiting. But we're going to be starting here in about 15 minutes with the games. But basically what it is we're going to do a tournament. It's all going to be best of 1. The maps are going to be randomized for each game. And then the winner is going to be our starting king. Is going to get I think it's $15 payout to start, and start off with a $5 bounty. So that will be our starting point. And we're going to roll all of that and stuff on stream here, so you guys will get to see kind of the randomized process, I guess. But yeah, we're going to hop into voice here with, I think only Keen is in the call right now. Players can join the call if they want. They don't have to, obviously, and we'll just get the tournament going. We're going to be watching every single game and casting every game. We're going to be doing it one at a time like that. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. Yo, what's up, Keen?
Hey, what's up?
All right, you're the only one that's going to know ahead of everybody else what's going to be happening.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay, so first what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys the wheel here, and we're going to spin for the first matchups. I've got Sterling on there, so the way it's going to be, if you look at the bracket here, Nomad's going to be seeded because he is the starting, or he is the reigning king from last season, so he's going to be seeded into the semifinals to start. If Sterling doesn't show up before it's time for him to play, then we'll just give the kind of the walkover to whoever that is, because there was going to be a second person seeded anyway automatically this way, so this just kind of gives Sterling a chance to show up. He did say he was going to play. It's still about 20 minutes till start time. We'll probably do some games, while we're waiting on other players, because not everybody's going to be here right on time, so we'll give him a chance to get in here. And the way I plan on doing the maps, I don't know if we want to do where I do a random map for each individual game, or if we want to just have it like for the round, right? Do you have a preference, Keen, or it's really kind of the...
I mean, I don't think it really matters, but it's easier to just do it per round, right?
Yeah, we can do it that way. Whichever is more exciting, I guess. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and spin. We'll get the first matchup here decided.
Or you know what would be an exciting method is to have the players argue about who's lower level and let the lower level player who's decided choose the map.
That's fair. All right, Ray Rain's first matchup is gonna be against Radley.
Oh man, his name.
I can already hear the tilt.
I generally root against Radley, but I actually want Radley to beat Ray Rain just because I think it'd be funny.
All right, so our first game is going to be Radley versus Ray Rain. So Ray Rain's not going to be here to start. He is the only other player that said he's going to be delayed, so we will put that one off and not do that one right away. Next, we're going to have Jimin. Exit specifically said he wanted to avoid Jimin, and only Jimin.
Oh, come on, let's go, exit. No.
It's going to be Keen. And I've actually heard that Jimin's, like, really good at ZVZ. I guess it's his best matchup.
Really?
Alright, so that gives Keen and Jimin, and Exit and Sterling. So Sterling, again, going to be the one that's not here. So it looks like we're kind of forced into Keen versus Jimin to start. And then I'm going to roll for the maps. I guess this will just be for the... Yeah, we'll just roll for the round. I think that's probably fair enough. Just write this down. It's three rounds, right? Yeah, it's gonna be 3 rounds. All right, so we're just gonna take the entire map pool. I do kind of want to ask, do we want to remove any of the maps? Like, do we want to take out, because it's 3 rounds, so we can get rid of like Jane Doe, because a lot of people I think are vetoing and not playing it if we want to do that, or we can keep it in for the excitement. It's I would ask the majority, but Keen's the only one here. So Keen, what do you think?
I'll keep them all in.
Just keep them all
Actually,
in?
no. Fuck Fighting Spirit. Take Fighting Spirit
Okay,
out.
Fighting Spirit, yeah. That's actually the one that I wanted to get rid of the most. I think we just need to, probably what I'll end up doing at some point is just remove Fighting Spirit from the map pool entirely and replace it with something that we like Dominator or something. Maybe another 4-player map, like Radion. We can put Radion back in. I think that actually would be better.
Fighting Spirit is even worse than Polypoid.
Yeah. No, I can't stand that map. I'm sick of that map. Alright, so the first round map. It's gonna be match point. Alright. I actually like this map from what I've seen so far.
I kind of like it too, honestly. But that's because I'm a fan of Blue Storm, and this is basically just like Blue Storm.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it doesn't make
And
any fucking difference in ZVZ.
it's gonna be knockout for the semifinals. Yeah, I guess for ZVZ. Well, I think 2-player maps are probably more fair for ZVZ, right? Generally.
I don't know.
Yeah. And attitude. Alright, so round 1's gonna be match point, semifinals will be on knockout, and the finals will be on attitude. Okay, let me find out if Jimin is ready. Let me message him real quick.
Are we gonna start now?
If you're both ready, we can start now. In my head, this was gonna take longer than 5 minutes. Are you ready now, or is it too early?
Yeah, I guess I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I messaged him and we'll wait for a response here. Yeah, what's up, Exit?
Did you beat Mazer exit?
I did.
You did? You okay?
No, I'm not playing match point ever in my life. None of your units like go where you send them.
I'm
Well,
gonna be right back.
It's not that Mazer beat me, it's just I can't function my units.
well, your first game is against Sterling on match point. If Sterling shows up. Oh yeah, I don't know where the maps are.
I got Sterling?
Yeah, but he's not here right now, so if he doesn't show up after a game or two, then you're just gonna get seeded into the semis.
How did I get lucky to get Sterling?
It's crazy, right?
Crazy. It's like we just
Crazy.
playing our best of 99.
That's kind of what I was thinking. You guys have already played like a million games. Okay, I need to download the map pack because I don't know where it is.
All right, Ken, you ready? I can't talk loud.
I'm back.
Yeah, we're gonna start it here in just a second, Jim. And I just need to find the where does the map go for the new season? Oh, I found it. Okay, I found it. It's just under ladder. Okay, it's gonna be Azhi 1-1, and game is up. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream on Discord so you can watch without the delay exit. But I will be deafened while I'm casting.
Do I have to wait for Sterling, or can we start whenever I find him?
No, I need to... I'm going to be watching every game, casting
Okay.
every game, so... If he
So when do we
shows up,
play next, or is that somebody else next?
If Ray Rain's here, then he's gonna play next. If not, then we'll just, I guess, give you the walkover and keep going.
Alright, sounds good.
Yeah, and then you'll play the winner of this. Yeah, so that works out. Okay, I'm gonna deafen. Alright. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our first match of the Kings Tournament. We have our blue Zerg spawning here in the bottom left. It's going to be Jimin, and his opponent here in the top right corner on match point is going to be Keen. So, I haven't seen Keen play a whole lot of ZVZ. I've watched a few, and he tends to do kind of Ling all-ins and things like that. I don't think he plays like typical standard like long games. Not that ZVZ really is ever long to begin with. But I have seen a fair amount of Jimin, and apparently, and I didn't realize this when I was watching him at first, but as I watched him more and more, his ZVZ is really good. I think it's his best matchup, which is funny because I originally thought it was his worst. But yeah, his ZVZ looks very strong. So Keen's gonna have a hard time. Jimin is a kind of low S rank player. He's a little bit of a one-trick pony in a lot of the matchups. He's got a couple different builds, but he... Basically what Jimin is really good at is he's really good at executing a... He's really good at executing particular builds, right? He doesn't have like a lot of adaptability, he doesn't know like a lot of late game stuff or whatever, but he like has builds that he is going to do and he's going to do them well. This is like, yeah, this is his specialty. And it looks like we're actually going to get a 12 hatch from both players. This is really, really rare in ZVZ. And I thought Jimin only played a 9 pool, so I'm immediately looking like a little bit of a liar here. I thought he played 9 pool every ZVZ. But we are going to get that mirrored 12 hatch, which is, again, pretty interesting. You don't see that very often. We're going to get the... Sorry, it was an 11 hatch from Jimin, and it was a 12 hatch from Keen. So Keen's going to have that slightly better eco because of this. It's not going to be much better. It's very, very minor, and it's actually because of the mining. It's going to basically even out here. And Keen actually ever so slightly behind, so I don't know if Jimin's just doing a little bit better with the mining. It seems like he is. I don't really know exactly how the boosting works with Zerg as well. I only know the mining for Terran, really, at this point. I should take some time to kind of learn the mining patterns for the other races. But yeah, mirror build so far, outside of the one drone difference, and it's basically going to even out because of that. So gases finish around the same time, and because it is a 2-player map, they both get to scout each other immediately, which is great for them. I think it's very fair for ZVZ for 2v2 maps, or sorry, 2-player maps. Because there is no, you get scouted and don't get to scout them kind of thing. You both get to scout each other at the same time. So you at least both have the info so you can kind of adapt to what's going on. But again, completely mirrored so far. So usually when it's mirrored, it's going to come down a lot to control. There's obviously going to be some decision making as well with a lot of your units and stuff, but or kind of what your composition is going to be. If you're going to spend on a few more lings or buy a couple more drones. And it looks like Keen actually opted for one more drone than Jimin did, so it's going to be slightly behind on the initial lings here, but he's going to see with his Overlord the lings coming out, and you have a lot of time before lings get across the map, and Jimin's actually just posturing aggressively in the sense that he's hiding the lings, which is going to make Keen a little bit nervous, and he doesn't know for sure if these lings are coming. So I like hiding from view. It does a couple things where not only do you threaten, like make your opponent concerned that they're going to be getting attacked or potentially harassed, so they have to respect that. But they also don't know what your lane count is because it's out of view. So it just makes it a little bit harder to track everything there. And Lair's going to finish at the same time here. Spire is going to start for both players, although, okay, it's slightly faster for Keen, but it's like, what, a couple seconds? It's not going to make a difference here. And it looks like Keen continued link production, as did Jimin. And how are we on drones, actually? So we got 3 there, and then a 10. And so we're actually completely mirrored on Eco as well. I guess 11, but yeah, whatever. Alright, so completely mirrored. And we see an extra drone come out here for Keen, so he's gonna sneak out an extra drone or 2, it looks like, which does scare... It's a little bit scary because of the lings, right? He's posturing pretty aggressively on the map, and he's made these couple extra drones, so gotta be very, very careful not to take an engagement here. But he's gonna just sit back on his defender's advantage. I like that, after sneaking out a couple extra drones. Second gas coming down for both players. Slightly faster for Jimin here. But again, these are... I'd say these are a few seconds that don't matter that much, but honestly, in ZVZ, that's kind of the difference maker a lot of times. And Jimin's actually pulled off of minerals completely. And Keen has snuck in a few extra drones, which might come back to bite him here. He's floating a lot of money saving up for his mutas. And the ling timing here from Jimin is basically perfect. And the lings are not properly set up on this ramp for Keen to trade efficiently. And he's going to be down a lot of lings here. So he's going to have to fight very, very efficiently. And he needs to buy time because he's got these mutas on the way. But Jimin with an overwhelming ling lead here is going to take a big win, and a lot of lings left over are going to start to run into these drones and start killing some drones. Might even focus down the hatchery, actually, which is a great win condition as well. Going to leave sunlings for the hatchery while the rest of them go into the main here to kill some drones. And we see the mutas popping, but this natural hatchery is going to go down. We see a drill here for Keen trying to save a bunch of these drones, even a Sunken starting to build here to try and defend his mineral line, but this hatchery is going to go down, and I think this is just too much damage for Keen. I liked what Keen was trying to do with the extra drones, but Jimin really punished him. You know, he kind of made the absolute bare minimum of drones to maximize his gas mining, to just build a bunch of mutas behind this ling flood. And yeah, with that natural going down, he's going to be on 2 gas now, is Jimin, and even killed a bunch of the drones here, so he's just going to be hurting, going to be too far behind. He's going to try to go across the map and do something, but he's going to run into a lot of the extra mutas. I love hiding these lings as well to go for kind of a re-counter. Going to force him to rely on the Sunken and lose even more drones in the process. And when these mutas run into the muta flock here, you know, Jimin, same number of mutas, but also defender advantage and has a couple Scourge. So once he clears these mutas, we'll see that GG from Keen. And there we go, GG. Going to be called. Jimin going to take this game against Keen and move on to our semis.
GG.
GG.
GG. Is it BO3 or?
It's all best of 1.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
So my next opponent will be winner versus winner between Exit and Sterling, correct?
Yeah, and let me see if Ray Rain's ready, because if he's not, Exit's gonna go and get the walkover here on Sterling. You can play him now. Let me check on Ray Rain. We're actually pretty ahead of schedule, though. Unfortunately, the first matchup was a ZVZ. Well, Sterling came online, so he might actually be here.
So I'm playing my match versus Mazer right now.
Okay.
Is there a way we can delay me and Sterling?
Yeah, that's fine. Because we are early. That's completely fine. We'll try to get Ray Rain versus Radley going in the meantime. I don't know if... Ray Rain said he's going to be a little bit late, and like I said, we're actually pretty early, so we might just kind of chill for a minute here. Blast. Yeah, we might just go to a be our back screen here because Rayrain is eating. We're 5 minutes from start time and we've already finished the game, so I need to work on my timing of things a little bit here.
I was going to say before we start, we should maybe make sure everyone is here so we could just have the games go one after another.
Yeah, the issue was I'd already started the stream, so I was hoping to just keep it going. But yeah, no, I should have waited since I was so far ahead of schedule.
But we can't have fun things. Ozzy fucks it all up. I'm sorry, messes it all up.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. Okay, let's give it a few minutes. So let's do take like 5 minutes here. We'll work on some stuff. Hey guys, I'll be right back. All right. Okay. Let's see where we stand, guys. Let me sit in here and talk to you guys a little bit. Okay, I think Ray Rain's warming up right now, probably. Sterling came online, but hasn't said anything. So we're making some progress.
Tim, you got to be a real bitch to warm up.
So true, man. Yeah, I guess I should have reminded. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but I didn't even think to remind you that it was best of one.
Same outcome.
Same outcome. You guys were completely mirrored build. I don't know if you recognized it up until.
I did. I thought I would be able to hold that ramp, but
Yeah.
guess not.
You hear the guineas?
Yeah, I do. Sounds like Moon.
It doesn't pick up on the stream though, unfortunately. It always cracks me up when I see my mic on Discord popping. How's Exits Games versus Mazur going?
Doing well.
Well, learned a bit of a lesson. I need to make sure schedule everything properly next time. I was really banking on Sterling showing up on time because Ray Rain told me to be late. Nomad said he'd be a little bit late, but Nomad was already seated, so it was fine. Ray Rain told me he'd be late. Everything's, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This isn't one of the professional events anyway.
Are you waiting on me?
I'm waiting on Sterling or Ray Rain.
If Ray Rain's not playing, who's next? Or who's playing Ray Rain, I guess.
Radley.
Where's he at?
Radley's here. He was talking to my stream. I think he's pretty much ready. He's waiting.
So Ray Rain is here. He's just making Radley wait for no reason.
Yeah. I think he wants to. I think he's warming up. I think that's what's happening. I think he just entered another. Hang on. Did he just enter another ranked game?
Yo, let's not do that.
Oh my god.
What a retard.
Yeah.
Oh, Ray. Ray.
Message him and tell him to get the fuck out.
Well, he's set
Can
to,
I play?
He's set to busy. Oh, he did a custom game.
Can I play?
Yeah. I think we just go ahead and DQ Sterling then. I think that's the call.
Yeah, sounds good. Who's next?
Jimin. It's you and Jimin then.
Good. Alright, where is he?
Yeah, let me message him. He just left. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna host. Oh, Ray Rain's ready. Okay, never mind. We'll do that then.
Can't believe I lost this retard.
Oh, okay. Who do I play? I'm ready.
Okay, sorry. Ray Rain just showed up, so we're gonna do Ray Rain and Radley first.
Okay, no problem.
Wonder why they don't pick up on your stream.
Yeah, but I don't know, the mic settings on my OBS just work a lot differently for whatever reason. Like to me, my voice sounds better on Discord than it does on my own stream.
Why is this match point remastered?
Because it's the new version.
Is this the latter version?
It was automatically put in the folder ladder, so I assume so.
Oh.
I hope so. For your viewing experience, Keen, because you're watching on Discord, right?
Yeah.
I can just deafen myself so you can hear me casting instead of full muting.
Sure, why not?
Okay. Okay. Radley said he just got a phone call.
Oh my god.
A work call.
Can I just play Jimin, man?
Dude, we're way ahead of schedule still.
We're ready, man. We're ready. Why are we waiting on two retards who aren't ready?
He got a work call. He can't help it, man. And you know, this isn't. This is very this is a casual event today. The micro fastest though, that's not casual. That's gonna be serious.
When's micro fastest? When's that happening?
We're gonna start scheduling it right after this.
Oh shit.
I'm hoping.
How likely is it that it's gonna fall into the exact same trap as the last one, and we're just not gonna be able to schedule it?
It's not impossible, that's for sure.
There's gonna be like one guy from Poland and one guy from Australia, one guy from like South Africa.
Well, that's why we usually do it around this time. The events is because it works for everybody, typically. But yeah, we'll see. I plan on starting a poll so we can see like what works for everybody essentially, and then try to schedule around that. I mean, it'll be tough. It's always tough scheduling for 8 people. Okay, I'm going to deafen. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, coming into our second game here for the first round on match point, we got in this bottom left here, spawning as our red Protoss player, we have Ray Rain, and his opponent here in the top right corner, we have the Terran player, Radley. Ray Rain was just saying he's only played one game on this map so far, so he's not feeling super comfortable or super confident. I think he even went into a custom game. and maybe looked at this map. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't actually look at the map, but he did do a custom game to kind of get warmed up before this, so it wouldn't be impossible that he was actually doing it on this map. Radley, on the other hand, a bit of a wild card the way he likes to play. He does some funky stuff. He's kind of famous for kind of his weird builds, and really what he's most famous for is probably his nukes in TVT. We've seen the nukes against Artosis a few times now. Some pretty crazy highlights from that, so yeah, Radley's a bit of a wild card. He does some weird stuff. We actually saw, even in BSL last season, he played a game against a Zerg where he did Ghost Rush with bunkers, fight against mutas and things like that, and it actually worked. He ended up winning the game, so he can make some weird stuff work against some pretty good players, and that Zerg was kind of a mid-A Zerg, so it's not like it was a complete slouch either. So yeah, it's always interesting to see Radley play, because you just never know what he's gonna get up to. Yeah, nothing super greedy from either player here on this two-player map to start. No gas steal coming out from Ray Ray, which, you know, I've played against Protosses that have done a couple gas steals on this map, but the travel distance is so long, they have to send the probe incredibly early, and I've even had a few completely mistime it where they'll like do the pylon scout after kind of an in-base or even slightly forward, and it actually just doesn't get there in time. The travel distance is super long. It's kind of Screaming Sea-esque in that sense, where you have to send it incredibly early, and it's kind of just not worth it for Protoss, because it's not like it's unplayable for Terran by any means either. If you get gas stolen, there's plenty of things you can do where you'll just come out fine or even ahead, so yeah, I think we're not going to see much gas steals on this map in the future either, and a little bit of a kind of a later scout timing here from Radley. I kind of like doing this on two-player maps myself because you're guaranteed to get the first scout, so you can just kind of optimize your mineral mining and you can just do a later scout and it's no big deal. Doesn't really change anything for you, so you just have that slightly better eco. And meanwhile, Ray Rain looks like we didn't go Zealot, so no harass or anything planned, which really kind of expected with the gateway being this far back. So we're probably going to see a 23 Nexus or something really standard from Ray Rain. He might do rangeless. We've seen him do a lot of rangeless before. But yeah, we're going to see that range start. So it is going to be that 23 Nexus from Ray Rain. Could still be like 29 or something like that, but I don't think I've ever seen him do that before. Riley's SCV going to get in here and see everything's completely normal. Sees the core spinning. And yeah, good information I have. So the next bit of information Radley's going to be looking for essentially is the Nexus timing. And going to chase that around. And we're actually going to see, I think, 2 Marine into CC, so slightly greedy from Radley, but it kind of makes sense because, you know, it's, again, pretty long travel distance. You saw that the Goon was shooting the SCV a little bit, so you got that little bit of extra time. So he's going to drop that CC and then probably go Vulture. Or he's going to go Add-on. And he's just going to stay 2 Marines. So he actually might just go bunker off 2 Marines. Okay, so that is what he's going to do. Yeah, because we are skipping that Vulture. And he's not making those extra Marines. So going to get a slightly faster CC and go for a quick add-on. I'm curious to see what he wants to do with this add-on. Keeping 3 on gas, so we'll keep an eye on if it's going to be tank or maybe fast mines or speed or something like that. And going to be using the ramp here is Radley. And going to keep an eye on what the production is going to be here. If it's going to be a tank, if it's going to be mines. Okay, it looks like it was a tank. So he's actually going straight into a tank here. It's pretty interesting. You don't see that very often anymore, especially against like a 23 Nexus, just to open tank first. So curious to see what he's thinking of pivoting into with that. And Machine Shop gets spinning now too. You're gonna circle around here, sees the bunker, confirms the CC. Doesn't have to take too much damage either because the CC is nice and close to the bunker. And looks like that Goon is just going to come back home. He is a little bit worried that he may have missed the Vulture because it is kind of past that timing by quite a bit. So Goon's going to be coming back and kind of scouting around for this Vulture, but there actually was no Vulture made for Radley here. And we're going to see a little bit of that discomfort from Ray Rain, and this is part of the new maps, right? Where the units are going to kind of miss where they're going. Like I said, he's only played 1 game on this map so far, but does at least check this base looking for the Vulture. Gets this one coming up top left, and behind this we just have our Robo second gate on the way. So everything looking pretty normal for Ray Rain. He does play very standard a lot of the time, the complete opposite of Radley. And this is also Ray Rain's first time ever playing against Radley, so he doesn't know what kind of shenanigans to expect from a player like this. And I think for Ray Rain, like, playing completely normal, it makes a lot of sense, right? That's going to be his comfort zone, and again, when you're playing someone new, but yeah, see, look at this. This is what we're talking about here. It's going to be 1 fact into 3cc starport pre 6 minutes. This is the I really hope my opponent doesn't attack me build. Because we're just going to have Jack all when the observer comes out. But definitely there would be a timing where if he managed to get up here with his observer and goons, he could easily crush and cancel this third. But he's actually going to be getting aggressive while doing this as well, which is absolutely insane. And Ray Rain doesn't know exactly how much this is going to be. He sees just, 5 units here in total. And he's probably expecting there to be a lot more. Going to jump on top of this tank. So nice from Ray Rain to get that pick off and punish that tank coming forward. Going to clean up these vultures and these marines. So great trade from Ray Rain. The question is, does he get across the map and punish Radley for what he's doing? Because this is insanely greedy. The observer is out. Ray Rain, he's probably going to take us third. The observer going to be a little bit slow getting across the map, so there is a chance that this third just kind of goes unidentified for a while. And we'll see if Ray Rain can kind of figure out what's going on. The goons are not coming across the map with the observer. And we see the support bay coming down from Ray Rain, so it looks like Radley is actually going to be able to get away with this. He's going to have 2 tanks out. I kind of like his setup, though. We got a bit of a kind of a semi-full wall here. And we're starting the wall down here. We got a lot of mines here to poke in. And actually, Ray Rain did come across the map with his goons. Gonna see these mines and walk too far forward. Oh my god, Ray Rain. This is typical of him. He reissues attack commands quite often with his goons, which causes them, to step too far forward or cancel shots and things like that. And he's only showed up here with 4 goons total, so he's actually not going to be able to punch this base. Gonna try and jump on top of these tanks. And actually finds a position between the tanks, so that's actually a really nice pick there from Ray Rain. Not quite gonna have enough DPS to kill this other tank, though, because the Marines did finish off that 1 goon. Honestly, if we didn't eat that mine hit, that we absolutely didn't need to eat, then he would have done some serious damage here, unironically, right? If he had the 1 extra goon, if he didn't take all that extra damage on those goons, this could have been a lot of serious damage. And we actually see a second barracks even coming down to full wall to protect this tank here. Does find a little bit of a position with the goons to get a little bit of chip damage, but another tank's going to come down and shoo that away. And we actually have Wraith out for Radley. And going to scan here for the observer, pick this off with the Wraith. And this is actually going to be pretty good against the potential shuttles and reavers here from Ray Rain. Does walk forward with the goon and kind of loses 1 for free. Another one goes down on the high ground as well, and just a little bit wasteful from Ray Rain overall. Is taking his 4th behind this. And, yeah, just good defensive position here from Radley so far. Kind of getting away with this insanely fast third. And on the other side of it, we see the Reaver come out now. We see the Citadel and Forge coming down. Like I said, 4th base on the way for Ray Rain, but he actually needs to kind of get something going for him a little bit here. If things continue as they are, Radley's going to be able to explode. We see the double armory coming down. He already has a starport, so can drop his sci-fi. We see another scan come down and pick off this observer. And this cleans up every single observer on the other side of the map now, so Ray Rain completely in the dark. Also still on a single gas. Seems like his macros actually slipped quite a bit. The goon count very low. We see the minerals starting to explode a little bit, so we need to see a few gateways come down to help him spend that money. And would love to see that second gas getting started pretty soon. 4th base finishes up, and maybe a little bit slow on the transfer as well. But there's the extra gateways that Ray Rain does need, so I'd like to see that. Couple defensive cannons coming down for his bases because he's worried about drops and Wraith and vultures and all that good stuff, right? Meanwhile, Radley just going to be sitting on the other side of the map and kind of building up his army. Got the extra factories coming down. Only just now going up to 6 factory, but his SCV count and smoothing looks pretty decent. It's a little bit light, I guess, on these bases, but because of the mineral smoothing, it's still going to be mining really well. But I like these, I actually really like these Wraith patrolling, kind of for shuttle play and things like that. But yeah, there's the extra gateways. Second gas does finish up for Rayrain. It is floating a lot of minerals. This gas is, like I said, a little bit late at this point. But he also can just spin in a lot of zealots. So it's not completely, you know, wasteful being super high on minerals right now with nothing going on. You know, despite how greedy Radley's been and how much Rayrain's kind of already lost at this stage, another big mine hit there. Supply actually looks relatively even. And Rayrain might get a bit of a supply explosion here himself soon. No observer with this army, though. It was kind of crazy to push out across the map in the first place. We even saw a scan coming down from Radley looking for the observer, but there was no observer. And classic Radley, there's just a medic. And what this medic is for blinding. He wants to blind shuttles and blind observers. This is the weird stuff that Radley does that is actually, like, semi-viable. It's just hard to do and almost not worth it. But you kind of at least get the idea of what he's doing. There is a logical thought process. Mass scans come down from Radley, gets full information. He sees the gateway explosion, which is pretty much exactly what he wants to see. No crazy tech or anything to worry about. And he's just taking his own 4th base. And he's got that, Sci-Fi is done, but 2-2 actually hasn't started yet. So that's one thing that's going pretty well for Rayrain, is that the upgrades aren't going to be, like, crazy fast like I thought they were going to be at first. And gonna get out here with his vultures and clear all this up. And there we go. We see the blind onto the observer with the scan. And not gonna be able to see the mines anymore with this observer. And this shuttle now, it's blind. Not gonna make a big difference. And yeah, I think Rayrain doesn't actually know. He's just probably never seen this before. So he doesn't know that this observer can't detect anymore. He's gonna think that he's getting clowned under troll, but this is just typical Radley. We do see that Rayrain is max, so again, his supply actually looking pretty decent. It's just a big gateway man army, though. There are a million zealots at home. Reaver's gonna get a couple shots off here. Killed 2 tanks, actually, so pretty nice pick from Rayrain there. 4th base, though, finishing up behind this for Radley. And Rayrain kind of needs to crush this and get at least one more base up and running. This position, once Terran gets here, is extremely hard to dislodge. And again, I think this is just kind of inexperience with the map, allowing Terran to get here in this position. Although we have a huge flank set up, actually, from Rayrain, and he's going to come down with a huge swarm of zealots. There are no mines set up here, so I think Rayrain's going to completely swallow this army. We see the shuttles flying in as well, kind of bombing zealots on top of them. Even a couple Reavers, I think, in the shuttle here. And going to be a nice cleanup for Rayrain. And if he gets across the map and denies a base or two, this base is going to be pretty hard to deny, but if he takes out bottom right and gets his own 5th base going, this is looking great for Rayrain now. That was an extremely efficient cleanup from Rayrain. Yeah, the position for Radley was good, but maybe the supply not quite there. We saw a lot of units behind, no mines going down, but it's just a scary position because they can siege this base. And it sounds like one of the Reavers did go down, if not both. Does manage to clean up all these vultures. Pretty nice mine splash there for Rayrain. And this 4th base wasn't mining yet for Radley, so being able to deny this 4th. Gotta be careful with our shuttle. Not sure if it's got something in it. Does go down. Wasn't watching the supply. Now we're gonna see some probes going out on the map to try and take another base. And yeah, this base is gonna be denied for now from Radley. And we're going to see a bit of a vulture run by here, potentially, but there's 4 cannons up here, 1 more cannon down here, and the rally's pretty close by, so I don't think it's going to be able to get much damage. More fighting breaking out here, and Rayrain, again, just up 70 supply right now, but no real tech. He's just kind of playing gateway man with a few shuttles here. And the vultures do kind of find a pretty good spot, actually, to kill at least the bottom probes here, so going to get a few kills there, at least. And looks like we only started our +2 attack for Radley. Again, a bunch more scans coming down, just trying to get a bunch of information here, looking for the army. Well, we see the mines coming down here. We see a scan come down, gonna get that blind on top of that observer. And the question is, does Ray Rain make the same mistake as last time, where he just walks through the mines? The answer is gonna be yes. Yes, he does. Gonna clear out this vulture here and allow him to take that 6 o'clock base. This is very, very important. Bradley, his main gonna be mining out very, very soon, as is Protoss. And the natural is gonna be a little bit behind that. Not too bad, but Bradley getting very close to the very little mining. Really has to make sure to secure this bottom right base. He needs it pretty desperately. Bro was trying to get to the 12 o'clock base potentially to take it, which is wild, because you can't really have that base against Terran. But yeah, this is the most important base for Ray Rain here, is the 6 o'clock spawn. So taking 6 and continuing to try to deny Bradley's 4th is kind of the obvious win condition. And once again, another medic getting blinded here, so these goons completely surrounded by mines with 2 observers that can't do anything. Honestly, once an observer gets blinded, just run them into turrets and kill them. They're completely worthless for the rest of the game. They serve virtually no purpose. Luckily for Ray Rain, seems like he is starting to understand what's going on. We see him bring in a fresh observer to make sure he clears up all those mines. 5th base finishing up for Ray Rain. 4th relanded for Radley, but Ray Rain does see it. And yeah, he does actually send them in to die. Really nice call from Ray Rain. That's absolutely what he should have done. Looks like a lot of the pro transfer does get picked off here because he was long distance mining. In this space, I think is going to get denied, but Radley a little bit light on money. We see a big bank here for a Protoss player. So if this army gets cleared up and then this gets denied again, even though Ray Rain has been growing a lot in bases, he just still has a lot of bank. And Radley, you're going to be running out of steam pretty soon if he cannot hold on to this 4th. Supply, though, looks pretty good for him. He is 2-1 on those upgrades. Looks like we have stopped upgrades for our Protoss player as well. And using the goons to clear out a lot of the mines before sending in the Zealots, pretty smart. And here we go, the big Zealot swarm coming in here. We got some storms coming down as well on these massively clumped tanks, so huge storms coming down. Going to clean up a lot of these tanks, and you know, Radley does trade out really well, and he does kill this Nexus. But it's more about the remax. That was a decent fight for Ray Rain. At least he's a no base here, is getting taken at 12. But again, that 5th base getting denied is a little bit scary. He lost a lot of his probes as well. He's essentially down to 1 base mining himself soon. And Radley going to be mining a little bit here on 2 bases, so that was kind of a big swing. I think that's good for Terran overall. And we see that 3-2 now on the way for Radley. Ray Rain going to try and take this base. Is at least not going to be spotted right away. But he's going to need a little bit more. We definitely can't let cannot let Radley have that base here at 6. And we see an extra robo coming down, so we're going to try to get more observers, more shuttles, that kind of thing. Would love to see some stormplay and things like that. A little bit worried now for Radley because our bank has dropped up quite a bit and we're still not really ahead on supply. And yeah, he's going to be banking a fair amount on this base, which I guess Terran, it's not like Terran can hit it from here, but they can definitely set up siege lines to make it where it can't really come through here to defend it very easily. One nice thing about the base is it does make Terran, it kind of pulls them really far away if they try to attack it. So if you make it hard for them to attack into it, then you can kind of punish them for sending too much. Another observer goes down. And we have no shuttle speed, actually. I just noticed. It's kind of a big deal. And it looks like he's going to try to deny this base. I think that's absolutely something that has to be done. The army is a little bit out of position for Radley. There's not very many tanks here. It's only 2 tanks right now and a bunch of tanks here. And not a lot of movement, actually, from the tank line. It's pretty much just all the vultures coming down to defend. Gonna get a bit of a Zealot bomb here with a Templar. That Templar came out after the shuttle died. So good for Ray Rain. So he is going to clear this army up and deny this base. And he could potentially pivot to this base if he went quickly, but a lot of vultures actually going to be getting in position and some tanks as well. Left a lot of these tanks here in the middle, did Radley. Really could have used that in the defense down here at 6 o'clock. So this base is going to get denied. Rain basically mining right under Radley's nose here at 12 o'clock. And it looks like he's going to get away with it for a while. Radley not aware that he doesn't see the Nexus there. And a lot more vultures going to go down here. They are going to drop some mines on top of these goons and clear a lot of the goons as well. So overall, pretty decent for Radley. But again, we haven't got our tanks in a position yet. And they kind of need to go. The CC is going to soak a lot of damage and buy a lot of time. I'm not sure if Rain realizes he has a Templar here. It might just get focused down. And it is going to go down. But it looks like we should potentially be able to deny the CC or kill the CC off, rather. And there's still nothing down here in the bottom right corner. So Rain can kind of go up, but he's actually going to pivot into this as the unsiege happens. I like that call a lot more from Rain, actually. A little bit late with the Zealot reinforcements, though. But Shuttle does show up, potentially with a bomb. Yeah, going to drop some Zealots on top of this. And going to be another nice cleanup for Rain. And honestly, this 12 o'clock base getting to mine like this is such a kind of a godsend here for Rain. And as the Zealots go down, he's going to flee with the Dragoons. I think that's good, although the pathing, okay, does actually catch that. That was good, because a lot of goons are about to go down for free. And honestly, supply is still surprisingly close. That 3-2 is done for Radley as well, so the upgrade is heavily in advantage for him. We do have that +2 attack for Rain. Factory count is looking pretty decent. We're on 9 factories total. And the only thing is Radley's down to 1 base mining. And, okay, we're getting a carrier transition from Rain in the top left. We heard a scan go down, but I didn't quite see if he saw what that was. But he's probably just checking for the army, it looks like, more than anything. So the carrier transition is going to be the attempted kill move here for Rain. So Rain kind of just needs to make sure he can hold on to 12 o'clock and get his carrier count up. That's going to end up being the gameplay here. Going up to 5 Stargates, too. That's ambitious, to say the least. We don't have the bank to do 5 Stargates. And yeah, we actually didn't even start any carriers, right? We're pumping ground right now because we're really worried about them getting these bases, and we're trying to defend the push here. Another blind goes down on the observer. So a couple of these zealots going to die. And another big army push here from Rain. Just got to be careful not to bleed off too many zealots into the mines. We see the flanking medic going to go down. And 2 carriers have started up here for Rain. And this game, honestly, is getting very, very close. Rain is about to be on 1 base mining. The Terran on 1 base mining. Typically going to be Terran favored. He has taken that 6 o'clock base, and we definitely can't allow for a kind of split map here. And this is also pretty vulnerable for Rain. It's a little bit scary. We see Ghost and Lockdown going to be getting researched. This is a kind of a classic for Radley as well. So we're going to see Lockdown attempts for the carriers. That's going to be his answer. But another big bust attempt here coming in for Rain. Going to get some shuttle drops on top of these tanks, clear up a lot of these tanks. Pretty nice storm too on the SCV transfer. So going to kill all of those and also get these pocket tanks, which is actually pretty important. Radley does reinforce quickly enough though with a bunch of the tanks here on the high ground. And a couple of shuttles kind of going here to try and save these Templar, but it is going to go down as well. And I'm a little bit worried for Rain in the long run. If this base is allowed to mine too much, we're just not going to have the money even for our interceptors. A lot of storms coming out now for Rain. We got 3 shuttles going to be loading up. And I like the positioning of the carriers as well. It's going to be pretty hard for You don't really think of scanning for that, right? The only thing that would give it away is if you scan the core and saw that this core was spinning at some point. The lockdown also can just be for the shuttles and the storms and stuff like that, the storm drops. So even if it wasn't for the carriers, they do have other purposes as well. Actually just going to lock down the observer. Alright, 4 carriers are out for Ray Rain. And we see the bank completely depleted now. Bradley getting his nuclear silos. And 3 shuttles going down here. I hope they're on unload and not move command. Looks like they are on move. Okay, does at least notice before they all go down, so that's nice. So we're going to get a decent drop off here and kill a lot of the SCVs that are kind of getting stuck on this eBay here. And he's going to see the nuclear silo as well. So great storm drop kills a lot of the eco there for Radley. I like this play a lot. You know, we can't deny the base yet, but stopping it from mining is, you know, good enough for now. So we continue to build up those carriers, and oof, I'm a little bit worried. Like I said, there's the scan. He sees the carriers. Nice scan from Radley. Gets the full confirmation. So I imagine we're going to start seeing a lot of Goliath. He is a little bit light on gas at the moment, but he has a pretty decent gas income. He's mining on 2 gases right now, full still. Whereas Ray Rain just down to that 1. Bunch more scans going down, kind of looking for the army. And yeah, this base being allowed to mine like this is such a saving grace. Wouldn't be surprised if we see like a nuke attempt at some point, and I think that's actually what this ghost is going to be for. We see that cloak coming down, and that is a blind observer, so it can't see. So yeah, I think we're going to be getting that nuke on the 12 o'clock base, and the question is, does Ray Rain identify it? And honestly, it's kind of hard to get your probes out. There's not really a good place for them to hide. So here comes the nuke.
Nuclear launch detected.
Carrier's coming down to 6 o'clock to deny this base in the meantime, and you know, he could try to tuck them back here. I don't know if he's aware of it. We see the EMP come down as well, and that should kill the Nexus. So the Nexus goes down. A fair amount of the probes go down. He does manage to clean it up, but not before the nuke goes off. So now these carriers going to hit the 6 o'clock position and try to clear this. And Ray Rain, again, he's just out of money. We're now long distance mining. That is all we have for income. We got 16 minerals right here. Carriers getting their interceptors ready. He does have a very high carrier count, so it is possible that he just gets enough value out of this. He is only +1 on the carriers currently, so that's a little bit scary. I'm not going to be killing the mech super fast. But yeah, so it's a matter of how much value can we get out of this. We're going to be long distance mining. He needs to get all of his probe long distance mining, because we're essentially going to be paying for interceptors at this point. And with that base going down, Radley's kind of limited on his own income as well. A bunch of lockdown is going to come down, so 2 of the carriers going to get locked down and targeted down. Need to be fighting while these are getting targeted down. And it looks like we let a lot of our interceptors get put up as well. You can outrange the Ghost lockdown with good micro, but obviously not a lot of Protosses have that experience. Ray Rain now completely out of money. All the goons coming down here to help the carriers. And it is at least going to clear up a lot of these Goliath, but a lot of the carriers went down. We're down to just 5 carriers now. I guess 6 if you count the lockdown. And it is going to go down. But 5 carriers left over with very little anti-air left. The Ghost did all go down. Got to be very careful not to lose these goons to these tanks. These goons need to back up and let the carriers get as much value as possible. If you lose all these goons to the tanks, then the Goliath can absolutely take over. And again, would love to see all these AFK probes long distance mining. It's just extremely important for Ray Rain right now. Bradley on the last dredges of his account, or his income as well, and it's pretty much do or die. We have a Templar that kind of got left behind, And the storms would be pretty huge here. A lot of the goons going to go down to the tank fire. We do still have our 5 carriers. It's not a lot of Goliath. It's only 6 Goliath right now. And here we see some tanks now stopping this long distance running. We had 3 more carriers come out. I actually would have preferred to see a cancel or 2 so we could try to get some nexuses off or something. And we see the kind of lack of experience with the carrier micro there. I think Ray Rain has enough to win the game. Or had enough, I should say. I'm not so confident anymore. But the carrier micro just not quite there for Ray. And again, I really think letting these 3 carriers finish is hurting us too much. And it looks like Radley, in typical Radley fashion, is going to have kind of squeak out a barely win here. Some storms on these Goliath could be pretty big. Softening these up quite a bit for your carriers is very, very important. Only 1 storm gets off, though. 4 more ghosts coming in with lockdown. And yeah, I think that's just going to be too much for Ray Rain. What a close game this ended up being. I mean, there's still a lot of interceptors left. Radley still has a little bit of mining, and he's getting the long-distance mine at 6 o'clock. But yeah, the main thing is just these lockdowns, right? These lockdowns are essentially carrier kills at this point. So that's going to be 3, that's going to be 4. And now we have 4 carriers left, 2 of which, or 3 of which, don't even have any interceptors. And Radley going to take this game. GG, going to be called. Really, really close game. Radley gets it done. It's crazy.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Get this updated.
Yep.
Yo.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. It was so close so many times. I actually thought you had the series or this game.
Yeah. I probably could have won.
You definitely
Couple
could have.
points,
Even
but-
the carriers at the end, just the control wasn't there, right? But you definitely had enough to win. But that's typical Radley for you. Ghost, blind, like he does crap like this all the time. He's famous for his nukes on Artosis.
Nukes calm down way faster than SC2.
Yeah, much faster.
I pulled the probes like really early, but there's no room up there.
Yeah, that
Yo,
was
where's Jimin?
messaging him on.
And one nuke kills a Nexus? What the fuck?
If he
Okay.
EMPs it, it does, yeah.
I see.
Alright, so we got Jimin versus Exit next. The one person that Exit didn't want to play.
Nice. Well, I thought I was gonna get blasted. Didn't happen. So, well.
It looked so good for you multiple times, though. Sad. Sad, sad. I was excited for you to take out Radley. I'm biased, I won't lie.
Yeah.
I have to play him like today or tomorrow, too.
I didn't understand what was going on with my observer, and then I figured it out like mid match. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I actually was talking about that, too. I was like, he's not going to understand what's happening, but then you actually figured it out. I was like, okay, that's cool. You actually noticed.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, there's no way Ray Rain's dealt with this before.
No. Definitely not.
But no, I was impressed that you, A, noticed what was happening, and then B, as I was like, honestly, once they get blinded, observers are so useless, just send them into turrets, and like 10 seconds later you did that. So I was like, okay, cool. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. Because I was like, these things are fucking worthless, and I'm gonna get confused. So I was like, fuck it, just go die.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna deafen and cast.
No.
I should have told Exit to use a real name. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving into our second round here, which is going to be on knockout. Spawning here in the bottom left corner, we have Jimin, the Zerg player, and then bottom right we have our Terran player, Exit. So, as I said before with Jimin, he's got a few builds for each matchup that he just executes really, really well. And his build for this matchup typically is Hydra Guardian. He does have a couple different things. He'll do Muta All-In, he'll do Hydra Guardian. I've seen him try some crazy Zerg. But the Muta All-In and Hydra Guardian, definitely a strong suit. Jimin, kind of infamous for his really, really strong Muta control and how he can just kind of pick apart Terran players. Exit, on the other hand, not super confident in TVZ. He specifically wanted to avoid Jimin, but, you know, it's a small tournament, so it's likely to happen one way or another. And also, sorry, we're in the second round here. Exit was supposed to play against Sterling in the first round. Sterling did not show up, so he's going to get the walkover against Sterling, and that's why we're moving into this with Exit for the first time. So Jimin looks like we got that 12 pull. And I think it was 12 pull. Actually, it might have been 11. It's 11 or 12. I think it's 12 though, and this allows for a very, very fast Muta timing. It hits like 10-ish, 15 seconds faster, something like that, than your typical 2-hatch Mutas, so the Mutas get there very, very quickly. And this is also a little bit indicative of a Muta All-In. Now, he does still do Hydra Guardian off of this sometimes, so doesn't mean for sure that's what we're going to see. Exit, on the other hand, looks like we're just going to rally some Marines across the map. He might kind of fake bunker here, but these are Lings starting up for Jimin. And against 12 hatch, or sorry, against 12 pull, you don't really want to send your Marines across the map because they can easily get picked off. I will say that 12 pull, I'm pretty sure, is very vulnerable to a BBS, actually. And I've seen Jimin die to BBS and ARAX quite often. But, yeah, no damage going to be taken here. The 4-ling is going to be coming out here for Jimin. And it's going to be 2 racks with no CC for Exit. So Exit definitely wanting to avoid kind of the long game here with Jimin. And, you know, I said it was going to be a very fast meetup, but it's actually going to be just a typical 3:02 layer timing. So not going to be some crazy fast meetups this time from Jimin. Ling's gonna poke in here, see the Marines sitting here, and, you know, not gonna get confirmation on that CC, and because of these spawns, actually, it's gonna be extremely late before Jimin realizes that this is a 1 base 2 racks build. And the timing of this will hit way before Mutas. Jimin might potentially be able to get Sunkens up in time, though, and if he gets Sunkens up here, it's pretty strong because the Marines have to kind of move into the Sunkens a little bit. And yeah, so this is why the layer timing was a bit late. We went for Ling speed before layer. Now I'm kind of surprised that Exit's putting his Marines in the wall. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, yeah, you want to hide some Marines here because you don't want it to make it obvious that you're overproducing Marines. So I like that call from Exit. Gotta be careful here though. We have that wall, which is gonna allow a Marine to get picked off for free. And wait, did Jimin not see it? No, he definitely should have seen it. I'm amazed that we didn't kill this. It's dancing in our face. Jimin just not noticing that there is a Marine that wanted to die desperately. And here we go. Here comes this move out. It's going to be pretty early. It's about 10 seconds before a normal 2-rack stem timing. Like 10 to 15 seconds. 3 of the Marines did get split off, so it's not all going to be completely together, but it's going to be very hard for Jimin to identify that and punish that. We see the double sunken coming down. He does have a handful of Lings, and the Spire is pretty far from done still. We see that scan come down. He's going to see the Sunkens are building. He's going to see those extra Lings hatching. And he's going to try to defend this with the 2 Sunkens and a bunch of Lings. He still hasn't realized it's just a 1-base build. Otherwise, I think we'd see more Sunkens coming down. But Jimin definitely taking this serious. We see a lot of Lings being built. 1 Marine does die for free, and that's a pretty big deal. He moved out like he wants to kind of overwhelm it with the Lings. Actually going to pull a couple Marines into this as well. And goes in without the Sunkens, actually. I'm going to trade these Lings out for Marines. Does kill quite a few of them, and there's definitely not enough Marines to punch down these Sunkens anymore. Jimin tries to catch his medic, and Exa does come back and defend it, but there are mutas building, and Exit has gotten essentially 0 damage down. These Lings continue to get more and more value across the map, just picking off the rallying Marines. And this pretty much completely kills off the bust from Exit. He's going to try and move in here with what he has as the mutas pop out. And this should be a pretty easy defense for Jimin, and we might just see that GG right away here. The 3 Marines do stay alive for as long as possible. But yeah, GG gonna be called. Jimin gonna take this, and this was a failed 1-base 2-racks.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow. Alright, next we have Nomad versus Radley. On knockout. Okay, lose my voice very quick. I'm out of casting shape, you know.
Oh, you're playing Nesh this week.
I saw that, yeah.
We have a lineups channel, but they just posted it in general chat instead of the lineups. It's not even pinned.
Not even pinned. So I still have to play Radley TVT, and then I gotta play Nesh TVT. But I'm okay with that. I like TVT. Where's Nomad? He joined the voice and then deafened and AFK'd. It's probably in a game. Garbage, can't believe you thought this would work. I will also be right back. Oh, he just messaged me. Never mind then. Okay. Alright, moving on to our second semifinals here. We have Radley spawning here in the top right corner here on Knockout, and his opponent in the bottom right are Blue Protoss Nomad. For those of you that might be a little confused about why Nomad is starting off in the semifinals, is because he is seeded as the reigning king from the previous season. So he got seeded a little bit, and will be defending his throne essentially here against Radley. And winner of this will be facing off against Jimin in the finals. You see the forward pylon here from Nomad, so he's looking for that Zealot harass. He loves to do this. He has pretty good Zealot control, generally. I think his multitask behind that might sometimes slack off a little bit, but he kind of makes up for it a lot of times with the amount of value they can get with that Zealot. If you saw my series against him, I just died to the Zealot rally 4 games, so... Definitely Micro's better than me in the early game. I'm kind of notoriously weak in the early game. I think that is one of Nomad's strong points, is the early. I think mid is when he starts to fall off a little bit. And it looks like we are going to be getting a 15cc here from Radley. Oh, he was actually going for 13cc. That's pretty bad for Radley, actually, because this barracks is going to be very delayed, and this is a forward gateway. So the barracks only just now getting started. Nomad's going to see how late this is, and he's going to feel pretty happy about that. He might even try to go up here and steal the gas, and now Radley's going to pull the SCV to drop that gas down. And this is going to be a little bit tough. It's going to be essentially a normal build from Radley, but just with the delayed barracks, so he's going to be taking a little bit of potential damage here. There's more potential for damage, let's put it that way. And I love this from Radley, actually. His gas is essentially a fake at this point. So we might see a bunker come down pretty early for Radley here, and this probe actually getting decent damage, but not quite going to get the SCV. It's still at half HP. Zealot coming across the map now before the barracks is finished. And SCV doesn't quite go down, but actually does stay in fight, so SCV is going to drop. And the question is, if Radley can defend this well enough, then this potentially gets a ton of damage done. I'm actually surprised we're even putting 2 on gas. I kind of thought we might even bunker because we were going for this, but I think that might would sell it, that there's like something wrong. SCV, that is unlucky. That is a Terran problem if I've ever seen one right there. SCV finishes the depot, it immediately blocks his own Marine and gets it killed. Decent drill attempt, but doesn't quite get this around on the Zealot. Second Zealot showing up. Even a third Zealot is being made right now, and yeah, I have so many losses to Nomad like this. Granted, I don't try to do 13cc, but yeah, he's pretty good at this, and again, Radley a little bit unlucky, both with the build, getting first scouted, and that SCV just deciding that Marine deserved to die, and fortunately not quite getting the block there either for that Marine. The Marine does at least stay alive, and it looks like he might be able to pick this Zealot off. Not quite able to. A lot of SCVs trying to fight here. Nice blocking to allow the Marine to get inside. And on the other side of the map, we are kind of building up our Marine count there, and this very low Zealot kind of tucks away in the corner, going to regen some shields at least. And at this point, Radley is pretty much fully banking on this hidden barracks, getting a lot of damage done. I'm curious to see how many Marines he wants to save up for. If maybe he wants like 4 or 5 or something like that. Does also identify the Zealot back here. Unfortunately, it slips through the SCVs, kills the Marine, and just not a lot going well for Radley here. Goon coming across the map into the base here, and there's only a single Marine. The SCV even mining out the minerals. I'm not sure why we want to do that. And yeah, we're just going to go now because, you know, we're kind of dying. We need some sort of distraction. So 4 Marines and an SCV. Another Marine making behind this. We're going to see a bunker probably come down as well. SCV, or probes immediately pulled. 2 of the probes going to go down. Going to need a lot more damage. On the other side of the map, we have all of our units kind of chasing this goon while we're trying to micro this. And does get a few probe kills. I mean, quite a few probe kills. Might even get to the bunker, which would be kind of nice. Is going to be able to get 2 inside the bunker, so that'll be able to get decent value. Meanwhile, we never fixed our SCVs running across the map. They want this goon desperately. So there's SCVs fighting goons. The SCVs at this point are just going to join the fight here. Extra Marine gets inside. This is super chaotic. Nomad losing a lot of his probes now, and honestly, if we were mining, this would look great for Radley. I mean, it's still actually completely fine. What a crazy game. Well, it's actually kind of nice that they shut up. He kind of needed them. Radley not even mining anymore. Nomad complaining about the 16 turn rate. I don't think it's that bad personally. Maybe he's a little bit spoiled on the turn rate. It is a little bit jittery too, I guess, in his defense. And we have ended up in a very awkward situation now where we have these goons trying to get maximum value. He's going to be able to kill off a lot of the SCVs at least. These Marines going to get inside and even kill one of these probes. And Nomad just on 2 probes right now versus the 7 SCVs of... Actually, we have a couple more tucked away here. I mean, there's potential that these goons get enough value that maybe he could claw his way back. I don't know. That actually might not be true. Not going to lose any more of the probes, though, at least. So that's good for Nomad. And I think we're going to see a bunker come down here for Radley, because he knows that he just needs to take no damage, right? I love this. Radley floated the barracks. Nomad sees that it's not there, and the barracks comes back as the Dragoons leave, and it's going to re-land and make... Brother. Honestly, Radley's like... borderline a genius. Okay, Nomad does check again, actually. So it's gonna work out. Okay, we're not gonna get a high ground bunker. We're just gonna continue Marine production. And the question is, can these goons get enough value to still win this game? Another Marine does come out here, but Nomad again did scout it with that probe, so that's good for him. Gonna get this pick off on this Marine. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have our goons kind of fighting up this ramp. We do see that bunker on the way. That's what I expected that we would see. And the hard part is getting vision for Nomad, right? You get vision, you can take a couple pot shots, but you're going to have to take damage every time you do it. This bunker finishes up, so these goons are going to have to leave now. And... oh, it looks like our goon actually rejoined that force. I'm kind of surprised. And we actually attack with one of the weak probes, so another probe goes down. That's pretty painful for Nomad, to be honest. The factory still hasn't started yet. We're going to see an academy from Radley, so I guess we're going to play bio. Why not at this point? And here comes the Citadel from Nomad. I don't even know what's going on in this game anymore. I love this, though. Radley creates so much chaos all the time. And now the factory is on the way. I wonder, is this just going to be for a scanner? Or he is, I think he's going to make at least one medic. We're still trying to float this barracks around and land and make Marines, which is actually starting to cost Bradley quite a bit now. As Nomad, you actually want this Marine to finish. I love that he's not shooting. Okay. He was hoping to catch that Marine coming out. Let it finish and kill it for free. That was a nice attempt from Nomad. That was actually pretty smart. And now we have 6 Marines moving out. Not sure what they're hoping to accomplish. There's 5 goons versus 6 Marines. There's a medic coming out now. So I think we're going to get a 1-base medic tank push. One of these Marines is going to go down. And honestly, this is pretty bad for Radley to be losing any Marines if he's making medics and planning on a push. Because these Marines gain insane value once you have stim, range, and medics with it, right? So the Marines going down like this is pretty painful. And we're going to need to see a depot and maybe an additional barracks or something. Not entirely sure yet exactly what the plan is from Radley, but yeah, these Marines going to get cleaned up pretty efficiently for Nomad. Nexus on the way. Archives is done, so we're going to see some Templar potentially. No scanner started yet. And it looks like despite all the damage that Nomad has taken, I think he's going to be able to pull this game out. Yeah, still on 1 gateway. DT is coming out now. Nexus is going to be finishing here in a few more moments for Nomad. And we're still just on that 1. Okay, we're doing a 1-1-1. Unfortunately, the game might not end. He might still stick it out because he's going to have a scanner. But this DT easily has the potential to win the game. It's just going to get so much value. We're going to see it start picking off these Marines. It's going to be 1 shot, obviously, for the DT. And scanner gonna start, or do we GG? Yeah, GG gonna be called. What a crazy game. K says Nomad. Our reigning king is a sore winner, ladies and gentlemen. But he does win. Probably frustrated with the lag. Love to see it. That was a wild one.
Yeah. It was lagging when I played Shipman as well. I don't know if it's like a latency issue or what.
Yeah, you guys had to play on 24 high. Radley is in Poland, so I think Nomad is West Coast. I think they're just very far from each other.
Yeah.
Up here, the Jimin is missing. Okay, I'll be right back real quick. Where did Nomad go? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here in the finals of our Kings tournament to establish the first reigning king of Season 2. Spawning here in the bottom right corner, the defending king from Season 1, we have our red Protoss player, Nomad, and his challenger here in the bottom left, our Zerg player, Jimin. Alright, we are here on Attitude, one of the new ladder maps. It's very kind of polypoid-esque. Really the only kind of major difference is instead of a high ground mineral only third, you have this kind of wall and like little chokes and stuff like this, and it's very close, extremely close to the fourth base, right? So if you secure this position, it's an easier transition into a fourth, which polypoid already kind of was an easy transition, because you would do like these three here, and then take this as your fourth a lot of times, but now when you take your mineral only, you have this. The mineral only a little bit harder to kind of get to and defend, but you kind of have the high ground around this as well, to kind of block this off a little bit. The rally's, you know, relatively close, so yeah, I think for Terran this is kind of a better version of polypoid, especially for TVP. Jimin is going to get that first scout, and we're going to see, looks like, overpull from Jimin, which means that Nomad won't die to a 9 pull like we see a lot of times, because Nomad has one of the worst scouting patterns I've ever seen. He likes to do single probe scout, he never pylon scouts, does single probe, and then sometimes he'll just drop that Nexus before the cannon without seeing his opponent, which will die to even an overpull as well. A lot of times. Because he won't do 13-13 a lot of times. But it looks like we actually are going to get a 13-13 here. So no death to overpull. Okay, so he at least does that. So he won't die to the 9 pull, but if this was a 9 pull, it's an instant GG. But Nomad plays this way. He likes to play this kind of greedy style PvZ, and sometimes it does pay off. I mean, I've seen him lose to like legitimate C and D rankers in PvZ, and I've seen him beat Hawk like multiple times in a row. So Nomad has like the biggest swing and skill level, especially in this matchup, of any player I've ever seen. But okay, gonna get away with this 13-13 with a little bit of greed with the single scout and the late scout as well. And it's gonna be against Overpool, so he should be pretty happy with this opener. At least, if you identify this is what you were playing against. I don't know how well he'll identify it, but this has been a pretty decent opener for him so far. Again, it's not like a huge advantage, but it is something slight. Probe gonna get in here, C2, Lynx already blocking the ramp. This is another reason I don't like the single scout, because your last scout, it's pretty much impossible to get up the ramp in time. And so he's not going to have any information on what's going on, other than he's just going to see the 2 Lings and the hatchery timing. So based on hatchery timing, you should know it's probably Overpool. He's going to see that these 2 Lings are staying defensive and hiding something, but it doesn't always necessarily mean Zerg is hiding anything. The only thing that's really obviously indicative is that there is no 3rd hatchery, right? I think he did check up here. I'm pretty sure I watched him do it. So he at least sees that there was no 3rd hatch, at least in, you know, a normal location. So that is some information for him. We're going to see a quick layer coming out for Jimin, which is a little bit surprising because Jimin kind of infamous for his 973, right? That's usually his go-to build with Jimin. But it looks like we're going to get a Muto play from him actually this game. And Probe staying alive here, does see a few Lings hatching as well. Gonna see that 6 total. And Jimin is gonna be able to block this Probe, so he's not gonna let it get inside. It would be a massive mistake at this point if Jimin actually allowed it to get inside, especially with Ling speed finishing. But, you know, when you see Ling speed finishing, you saw that there was no 3rd hatch timing, as it should be. This is very indicative of Muta play. We see that Stargate going to be finishing up pretty soon. It's at a pretty decently timed Stargate as well. So we should be able to get some information on time. And we're actually going to see 2 hatcheries coming down now for Jimin at the same time. This is only going to be a 1 gas commitment, so it's not going to be some crazy Muta commitment or anything like that. Looks like we did try to poke in and lost a Ling. Looks like it did get blocked off. 2nd cannon coming down. Now the question is he going to use this for 5 Muta, or is it just going to be simply for a couple Scourge to deny that Sarah? I expect we're going to see kind of your typical 5 Muta. And this is what it's kind of lining up for as well, because we're saving the money, so yeah, we're going to see those Mutas coming out for Jimin. So all the gas gets spent, and then we're going to take our 2nd gas, and this will just be a few Mutas into that Hydrodome. And there it is. Now you do have to respect this as Protoss. You typically need kind of 1 cannon in the mineral line, but it's going to be 4 Mutas and a Scourge, I do believe. Yeah, so 4 Mutas and a pair of Scourge coming out. And we didn't build that cannon in our mineral line. It's very greedy, so we're going to try to use the Sarah to kind of pull them into the cannons here. But we can take some probe losses for this. This is, like I said, extremely greedy from Nomad to kind of play it this way. We see the cannon start now, but that is pretty late. It could just get focused down, but this is basically a probe killing squad is what these are for. It is only 4 Mutas, so they're not going to get that 1 shot. And yeah, Sarah, you see, kind of sitting on the outside trying to use that cannon to defend, and this is what I mean. Skipping that cannon in your mineral line can get punished very, very easily. You're going to see a handful of probes going down. You're going to stop the mining pretty much completely. 3rd Sarah going to come out, and he might try to fight it here. One of the Scourge does at least take a hit, but he actually made 2 cannons in his mineral line in his main, which is kind of surprising because it's an overcommitment for... Also, we're 3 Scourge versus the 4 Mutas, just the 3 Corsair, sorry. You can just kill these Mutas, back them down, but he's actually going to let them go. Bit of a mistake there from Nomad, so he took a lot of damage. Got a lot of mining denied, lost 1 Corsair, and essentially killed nothing. And we double cannon our main. which again, when you see just the one gas, a single cannon's typically enough. Alright, we have a DT coming across the map. If this gets into 9 o'clock and kills a bunch of drones, then there's a lot of potential for some kind of recovery here from Nomad, but right now it's looking very scary. We see the Hydra production started here for Jimin. And the DT actually going to go straight into the natural here and actually walk into the Hydras and take a ton of damage. It might get away. Oh no, there's another Overlord here, so... Okay, we're going to let it get away. He took mercy on that DT. But he sees all the Hydras and he starts those extra cannons in his front now. But this is not looking good for Nomad. Even if he defends these Hydras, it's still not looking great. I mean, there's a lot of larva production now for Jimin as well, so... You know, Nomad took a lot of those losses. We see Overlord speed does finish. This DT gonna chip away at these Hydras a little bit and maybe kill just one Hydra before it goes down. And Templar Archives is done. We're just on that one gateway though. Our first High Templar comes out. And now the question is, what does Jimin want to commit to behind this? Does he drone up a bunch? Okay, so yeah, we see a bunch of drones hatching now. So this is just going to be Hydras to kill the wall while he drones up. Nomad going to go across the map with his 4 Corsair and just kind of get information and potentially pick off some Overlords. You know, there's only a couple Hydras. Was it 3 Hydras here, 1 Hydra here, and the 4 Mutas here, so there's potential that we could kill some Overlords to maybe try and get some value back, but Big Storm actually comes down, hits a decent bit of the Hydra, a lot of damage, pulls in a few Hydra as well. And of course they're going to fight these Mutas. They'll be able to clean up these Mutas, which will be kind of nice because if Jimin wants to do a bit of a Muta swap at some point to kill off some High Templar, he'll have to remake those. Gotta be careful not to overcommit though with these Scourge coming out. Does actually get the pick off with the Force there, that's pretty rare. The Force there with the +1. Going to be able to get those Scourge, get an Overlord, and get out. So that was pretty nice value there from Nomad. He's still in a bad spot. A lot of Scourge were made. Almost an overreaction, I think. Yeah, a full 12 Scourge were made here from Jimin. But still, though, Nomad behind in supply, which does not bode well for our Protoss player. Does have 4 Templar out building up energy, getting his gateway count up right now. Robo going to be on the way for that Lurker. We made a lot of cannons for these Hydras that don't end up committing, right? And that's always the hard part, is balancing your cannon production against the Hydras. Ice Storm, though, kills a lot of these Hydras. This Overlord going to get pushed in here and killed as well. Lurker's getting out now, so the Lurker spread is going to be starting here for Jimin, but these Overlords going to get picked off. And again, pretty decent value from Nomad. I mean, despite the disaster opening with the Mutas, he's kind of... I don't want to say he's clawed his way back, because he's still definitely behind. And he's in a pretty bad spot. But he's been getting pretty good value to then start working his way towards that comeback a little bit. Lurker gonna pick away at this forge as well. We didn't make that backup forge. I can't click this building. It's a pylon. What's happening? Okay. My mouse like wouldn't click this spot for a second. Not sure what's going on. Alright, the Goon production has started. The observatory is done. We're gonna need to kill these cannons, but it's tough because from here, Jimin's pretty much going to only mass units and just focus on the contain. He likes getting into this position. This is very comfortable for him. He does this a lot. So it's just going to be all production and all reinforcing this contain. So the question is, how well can Nomad value his way out of this? And honestly, it doesn't look good. We're only on 4 Templar, so we're not going to have a ton of Storm energy. I'd like to see these cannons go down. The Hydra's actually going to jump forward on top of these Templar and pick off 2. And then this third one throws out a Storm a little bit late, though. And that was pretty rough because that Storm is so crucial. Observer immediately moves into the Hydras and gets picked off. I mean, decent Storm on the Hydras, but the Lurker count's getting built up, and this is just going to keep going backwards. And like I said, we lost 2 Templar, so a lot of our Storm has been cut off. And again, these cannons going to make it very hard for our goons to move around. These are at least a bunch of naked lurkers, so a lot of them going to get picked off. So that's kind of nice. But we're completely out of storm, and we're still down in supply. Yeah, I'm surprised that Jimin actually let a lot of these lurkers die like this. Does pick off the second to last Templar here. A couple more Templar do finish. You know, Nomad's got the supply evened up, but again, that's still not really that good for Protoss. Couple more gateways coming down. Nomad at least doing pretty good at spending his money during all of this. Now we're going to start killing these cannons to kind of increase our range of movement here, so we're not getting clogged quite as easily. Would like to see this cannon go down as well. But looks like he's not going to go for that. And we have 1 storm ready, 2 storm ready, and is there a 3rd Templar somewhere? Gonna die when I wasn't looking, maybe? Big storm on these Hydras, a lot of damage onto the Hydras again. We do have 1 more storm ready. Another great storm hitting a bunch of the lurkers, a lot of damage onto these lurkers. Pretty much all the lurkers going down now, there's just 2 more here on the backside. Nomad again keeping the supply even, but the reinforcements from Zerg are going to push them back into these cannons. And again, we're out of Templar now, right? We're making an Archon. And with the Templar going down and having to make an Archon with no more Templars coming up behind it, it's kind of a last hoorah push here from Nomad. Like, yes, he's kind of breaking out and it looks decent, but we're very close to drying up. Lots of observers as well, which is nice because it makes it much harder for Zerg to pick them all off. The reinforcing zealots, you know, pretty good for reinforcing because they build quickly, they travel quickly, they can get there, you know, to reinforce the fight fast, but so do the Hydras, honestly, and a lot of Hydras kind of come in here. All the Lurkers are dead, but the army supply from Nomad is extremely low. And we don't have really superior upgrades. Okay, we do have a Templar out. Maybe with 1 really, really nice storm. A little bit on the front, though, of that Hydra pack. Still get some decent damage because we moved back in at the last second. We do have the Forge still spinning, so we might get 1 more upgrade to kind of help us with this fighting. Still no Lurkers done yet for Jimin, and, you know, it's just continuous rally. There's no drones. Even our 4th base is basically just a macro hatch at this point. Is going to catch these Lurkers on the backside, potentially. A few more storms joining the fight here. Another great storm onto the Hydras. I mean, the storms have been getting insane value, but I just think it's not quite enough. We see Nomad taking a supply lead for the first time, which again looks good on paper, but we're down to kind of the final dredges of mining in our main base and our natural not too far behind that. So even if he breaks out, a lot of times you'll see Protoss will break free, and they just don't have enough economy to do anything with it. You know, Zerg, they're not mining super efficiently. Like, there's still a lot of mining to go when this is happening. But I mean, another great storm hitting a lot of these Lings with the Lurker. Gonna clean this army up. A lot of the rally as well kind of coming into it. A little bit of a flank with this army from Jimin. Another storm coming down here. Another storm on the left side here. And we're out of storms again. We might see another Archon start to morph. We did get that +2 attack from Zerg. And still no +2 for our Protoss player. Again, the supply lead going up and up for Protoss, but it's about to start to dip drastically, I think. He needs to get out and start a Nexus. He needs to get out and start 2 more Nexuses, to be honest with you, and it's just so hard. And there, a +2 armor finally finishes for Nomad. Storm hitting a few of our own Zealots, along with that Lurker. And we're actually out of storm. We have 4 Templar, 3 Templar now, with no storms left. Gonna jump on top of these goons. The cannon's still getting some shots off, which is kind of a nice little bit of extra DPS. Like, every little bit matters. Gonna see the Nexus coming down for Nomad now. And as you can see, the supply starting to dip back towards the Zerg now, right? And Jimin will just do this forever. This will never stop. He doesn't ever make a hive. If he ever makes a hive, it's for +3. This guy, if he makes a Defiler, he actually automatically loses the game. That's the one thing about Jimin. I mean, this 4th hatchery is basically, or this 4th base, he's not even using the larva on it, by the way. It's basically just there for when he mines out, he can transfer the probes there. And this is a nice wraparound from Jimin. He knows that just killing this Nexus is kind of a win condition by itself, right? We see the main just now mined out. The natural not too far off now either. And I think Jimin has just successfully grinded out Nomad here in this game. If you play Protoss, we've been in these games many, many times before. Or it's like you just can't quite break out. You feel the time like kind of constricting around you, and then yeah, it's like you break out, but then you're dead. It always feels awful. We're gonna get one last push out here from Nomad. You know, try to take a base. We did finally use some larvae here from this base. And here we go. This is kind of the final push from Nomad. Does actually leave a Templar back here that has Storm Energy. I mean, again, nice Storm on these Hydras. He was able to stay in the game as long as he did because these Storms have been so valuable. But it looks like we're completely out of Storm Energy now. And all the Hydra's going to jump on top of this, clean this up. These Templar are going to get picked off on the backside of it. Nomad pretty much done mining now. Jimin says sandwich. I mean, he's not wrong. It was a sandwich. Nomad says lag. That checks out. And it looks like Jimin is going to be our champion. A lot of Templar now. Looks like we're going to get a second, one last hoorah here from Nomad. So we're going to come across here, see that it's not mining, make him feel like he has a chance. Walk into these lurkers, though. It's going to take a ton of splash. Actually even misses the storm, doubling up a lot of his storms. Kind of desperation is part of just not having the meat that you need for your Templar. And GG, gonna be called. Jimin, gonna be our Season 2 starting champion. He's gonna win 15 bucks, and he's gonna start off with a $5 bounty. Crazy, crazy.
Lucky.
Yeah, very lucky. Brother, you gotta make that cannon in your knot, man. That killed you. Straight up.
Yeah. I actually thought I did.
Oh, okay. That would make more
I know
sense.
how he plays. He does. That's one of the only builds he's got.
He's got a couple, and that is one of them. Okay.
But I challenge him for king. I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. I will wrap up here. All right. You're knocking out multitask, Jimin? Yeah, it seems that way, huh? I said that, but you're not going to hear this for like 3 minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up our Kings tournament for today. We had some pretty crazy games. Really happy that Radley joined us today, because Radley just always makes for like interesting and fun games. So glad he was here. Glad I could be a part of it. And you know that game with Nomad was one of the craziest things I've seen. But yeah, so Jimin will be our reigning champion here. I will not be live streaming any of the matches. Let me get the channel that it's gonna be on. So if you want to follow here it is. If you want to follow any of the challenges from here on out, so the way it's going to work is Jimin's going to be our king, And anytime a challenger wants to fight or go up against Jimin, they put in $5, right? If they win, they get their money back. They collect the bounty from the king, and they become the new king. When you are king, you start off with a $5 bounty. Every time you defend when someone challenges you, you make $2, and $2 goes into your bounty. And every day that passes that you remain king, you get another $1, as well as a $1 bounty. So over time, as you're sitting there as king, you're just building up more and more money. As people challenge you, it's just a chance to make a little bit more and for them to kind of collect that bounty. So no matter what, once you become king, you're kind of guaranteed to be making some money. Those will not be live streamed. Any of the challenges will be uploaded onto my YouTube and my Patreon. I know I got a big delay on the stream. Yeah. I'm gonna post the YouTube channel here. I know there's delays, so you guys aren't gonna see it, you know, you're not gonna hear me saying this for a minute. Okay, so it's gonna be on that YouTube channel. That's where all my content's gonna be. It's gonna be on there. It's gonna be on my Patreon, and I will not be live streaming any of the King's challenges. And I also will not be streaming anymore on my normal YouTube channel. It will all be on my Azhi's Colosseum YouTube channel. So everything is going to be separated and placed over there for you guys. But that's going to wrap up our tournament today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think we had some pretty fun games. And yeah, go ahead and follow that channel over there to keep up with what's going on. And yeah, that'll do it for us here today. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.